This is John Black, Super Chemist. We're still on the same playlist. We're put, it's like part 4 or something like that. I don't know. But on the playlist called Matriarchy versus Patriarchy. And it's also on the playlist called Pastafarian Rules. It's probably up to video 15 or 16 by now. But anyways, we're going to continue. The last video, I basically was just talking about something I lost my train of thought on the video before that. So I took all 15 minutes to go into that. So now I'm going to continue what was at the end of that video, which was I was talking about a patriarchy having the man go to work and the woman stays at home, and they each work 50 hours a week. Okay, just on average in general. We're not getting down to the second, okay? But let's just say, and that's actually given a lot of leeway on the woman's, okay? Because I don't think they work no 50 hours a week. I could be a housewife and have kids and do it in less than 50 hours a week. But let's just say 50, because then that way it evens out, 50 and 50, right? The man works 50 hours and the woman works 50 hours in a patriarchy. Now you have all week long, that you're not working, another 75 hours or something, where you can spend time with your kids and your family, okay? Now, and this is the crazy part. I've never bought into this, even though there's two things I never bought into. One is I will never be with a woman who doesn't have sex with me. You know what I mean? If I'm in a marriage or whatever, once we have sex, that's it. You need to have sex with me when I want it. It's your duty. If I commit to you and you commit to me, we're living together, you either have to say it's your duty, because it is your duty, to give me sex when I want it, or it's not. I would never be with, and I've been with cheaters that I let them cheat left and right on me. My first wife cheated constantly on me, trying to level up, and all women I've been have been horrible people. I forget where I was at now. Oh, okay. So, what's a matriarchy? Okay, a matriarchy. They want you to what? They want the man still to work 50 hours a week, right? But now they want the woman to also work 50 hours a week. You might say, well, so what? Big deal. But hey, remember, the woman used to do 50 hours a week cleaning, taking care of the kids, taking care of the husband, and doing all, what a housewife does. She had to do all that stuff, cook and stuff like that, do laundry, blah, blah, blah. Well, who's going to do that 50 hours of work? In the matriarchy, the woman's working 50 hours and the man's working 50 hours. Well, who's going to do that other 50 hours? Well, let's say if we split it in half the way the matriarchy says you should do, that means 25 hours go to the woman and 25 hours go to the man. But they were already working 50 hours a week. Add on another 25, they're each working 75 hours a week in a matriarchy. This is what I don't understand. I never bought into this. Because this, just common sense. As soon as I say both parents are working 75 hours a week, 2 full-time jobs is 80 hours a week. What net job says, working 75 hours a week for both parents is better than 50 hours a week for both parents? Like, what kind of nut job? I would never. And keep in mind, because I bought into a lot of this garbage, I previously, than a year ago, before a year ago, I thought the best family unit was just a family unit that had 2 people. And one person worked and one person stayed at home, okay? And it sounds logical, right? Because you think men and women are pretty much the same. I mean, we all know they're not the same because men are bigger and they're stronger and blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying capability to do something like work or whatever. I lost my train of thought again. So they want you to work 75 hours. That's almost 2 full-time jobs. Not for one parent, for both parents. And dudes are like, oh, that sounds good. Let's both work 80 hours a week for our entire life. Because that makes sense. And then we can just screw our kids over. Because what's going to happen when you have two parents working 75 hours a week? You think they're going to, yeah, sure, maybe at their job, they're going to do their job. But when they come home, because at the job, they got a boss, right? At their home, are they going to clean their house the way it should be cleaned? Are they going to make meals the way they should be made? Are they going to give their children, how are you going to give your children any time to teach them anything? If you're spending, both parents are spending 80 hours a week almost, two full-time jobs working. I'll tell you what will happen. You will come home in those kind of family units, and you will have garbage all over the house because you can't clean it up because no one can work unless you got a mental problem. No one wants to work 80 hours a week for the rest of their lives. That's just insane. Okay? But, all right. So, that's, and I want you to think about something. You know, if you're old like me, you know, TV, anytime you've seen TV shows, man, you got like a sitcom with a family, house was immaculate, man. Not a thing out of place, man. You know what I mean? That's how like my mother's house is. Okay, my mother's house, everything is in its place. There's nothing. Everything's clean, dusted, swept. You know what I mean? She's old school. She's a woman from the back. She's 80. Well, actually, she's older than 80. But as soon as like Roseanne Barr, remember the show Roseanne? I think that was. I don't know if it was the first show, but it's the first show that I recognized where the house looked like shit. They had laundry all over the place, just toys, just crap all over the place. And they even mentioned it on Roseanne. You know, the people on the show mentioned it, that they did that because they wanted to be more realistic to what life is really like. See, back before Roseanne Barr, you know, before 60 years ago, all right, before feminism and all this other crap, I lost my train of thought again. God damn it. But she was back in the day, so what was I trying to get to? But anyways, I'm going to have to move on. That's what I hate about, I can't edit anymore, so I got to just do the video, and that's the way it is. Usually I have these hems and haws and these pauses that I do, they're all, you know, edited out, you know what I mean? The millions of times I'm like, yeah, I get to edit that out. I can't do that now, okay? And it's horrible when you have no short-term, memory. So anyways, patriarchy, Roseanne Barr. The show looked like crap. See, the houses in the sitcoms before the 60s, they were immaculate because that's the way, that wasn't realistic. That's the way houses were. You had one woman in the house and you had one man outside going to work. And she took care of the house and the kids and blah, blah, blah. And that's why you had an immaculate house. You had a clean house. Everything, you know, out of the, you know, in their place. Everything dusted and swept. Everything looking like a house where you were going to have kids that will grow up to be successful. Because let me tell you something. If you have a kid and he's growing up in a house that looks like Roseanne Barr's house, where you got laundry all over the place, you got just crap all over the place, yeah, you're not indoctrinating that kid to be successful. You're indoctrinating him to be lazy, okay? And to think that life is so hard because you got to work 80 hours a week that you just can't do everything. You got to neglect your kids. You got to neglect your house and cleaning and this and that, okay? And I never understood that. how does, I can't understand anything humans do. But, and for women are crazy. Like, they're the ones who's fighting for it. Men are just as idiotic because they're agreeing to it. I would never, ever go into a marriage, especially if I was going to have kids, and say, hey, let's both work 80 hours a week so we can neglect our kids and just not give a crap about them. You know what I mean? Let's do that. That sounds like a good idea. No, I never would do that, ever. So, okay, we're enough on that. Okay, one's is logical, and it makes, patriarchy, 50 hours a week for each person. You have a lot of plenty of time to raise your kids, right? Raise your own damn kid. What's funny is these women that they go get jobs. 90% of them, I can't say 90%. A lot of these women that get degrees, they're going to be a teacher. They're going to. I have like 6 women in women in my family who are teachers teachers who specialize in like mentally retarded or that special case kids. You know what I mean? A lot of them are in that special case. I don't know why. I guess they make more money. But don't you find it funny that a woman will say, hey, I'm being oppressed by working 50 hours a week, so what I'm going to do so I can empower myself is I'm going to work 80 or 75 hours a week, neglect my kids, right? And why am I neglecting my kids? So that I can drive to the public school down the road, so that I can teach total strangers' kids and make them be successful in life. And just say, screw my own kid. It would be different if, like, these women are going to go do something else, that's totally different than managing a house and kids and raising children. But they don't. They go get another job outside the home, basically taking care of kids that are total strangers. And to do that, they have to work 75 hours a week for the privilege, they say. For the privilege of working. It's a privilege to work 75 hours. Yeah, and oppression is 50 hours a week working at home. But anyways, let's get back to this. I'm getting off the subjects here. So, let's see what else. They want to destroy. Okay, how about this one? Another difference between a matriarchy and a patriarchy. A matriarchy is usually an egalitarian society, or it wants to be egalitarian, okay? And a patriarchy wants to be a hierarchy society, okay? What's an egalitarian society? Basically, egalitarian society is a society where everyone is equal, okay? Which is the stupidest. Egalitarian societies do not work. An egalitarian society will never work, okay? And I'll get into that. But an egalitarian, like I said, everyone is equal. But the thing about everyone being equal is there's no representation. Meaning, let's say you're going to have a war. In an egalitarian society, everybody got to vote, okay? Then they vote on the war. Now they got to vote on how to do the war, right? Oh, should we attack here or attack over here or attack over there? Then they all got to take a vote in an egalitarian thing because there's no politicians. Everyone's equal. There's no representation. We all, and everything that, how many decisions are made in a war? You can't have a war without making 20 million decisions. That means you need 20 million votes at different days, different times. It's not possible. If you were really an egalitarian society, what will happen is the hierarchical society that believes in hierarchy will just come over and take over and kill everyone in your thing because they have a hierarchy. They have a leader. And he makes decisions in an instant. In an egalitarian, you can make thousands of decisions in a patriarchy in a second. Egalitarian, you need years to do so many decisions.